What's up, guys? It's Manny from Tiki's Geckos. This is Dave's not here. He's enjoying life in Hawaii while I'm here working. All right, guys. So today I'm just gonna briefly talk about how we set up blue tongue skinks. Just keep in mind that this is not the only way to do it. This is just the way I found success through. So for an adult blue tongue skink, you want an enclosure that's about 4 feet long, 2 feet wide, and about like at least 6 inches high. I keep all my blue tongue skinks in racks, which is why you see the tub. So, like I said, I'm just gonna briefly go over how I set up my adults, and I set my my Indonesians and my Northerns the same. So I'd like to start off with the substrate of cypress mulch, pure cypress mulch, nothing that has chemicals in it. I like to have it a couple inches deep because these guys do like to burrow. And also with keeping skinks like the Indonesian skinks, like the Marukis, it helps maintain the moisture, so it helps keep the humidity high, which they do need. And then here I also have like a little hide. You could have a little cave, you could have a little tube like this. There's many different things you can use, but I like to give these guys multiple options so they can either burrow to hide if they want, or they can just go in the tube. And then you want a big water bowl. These guys are big drinkers. And you want something that's heavy on the bottom, because if they can spill it, they will. Trust me. They've spilled the water many, many times in these enclosures. So, and then these guys, you need a hot spot of about 95 degrees. And then you don't see it here, but in my rack we have an under tank heater or a heat tape, and I set it at 95 degrees. If you have them like in a tank, you could do like overhead heating. But you want about a 95-degree hot spot and a cool spot about low 80s. And it's also important to keep in mind that if you're using things like under tank heaters, that you have something to regulate the temperature, because it won't, if you don't, it can get really, really hot where it's dangerous for the skinks, or not be hot enough. And if you're using a tank, I would recommend at least a 40-gallon breeder, is what translates to like about 4 feet, as I was mentioning before. But from my experience, from keeping so many animals, the simpler you keep it, the better it is for them. And so that's it, man. That's how I keep it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask it, and I'm gonna answer it through the video. Now I'm just gonna show off a couple blue tongue skinks that we do have, some up and comers, some old breeders. I just want to show a few of these guys off. Let me know if anyone asks any questions or anything. Do you see any comments? Okay. See if you can see it. Ignore my white socks. And yes, I'm wearing slides and socks. Alright, so this is a classic northern blue tongue skink. These guys come out of Australia. And this is more of a typical wild type coloration, where it does have like the orange cream banding and black side. So this is more of a normal blue tongue skink. And then I'm going to show you the difference between the normals and some of the higher end morph blue tongue skinks. Oh, this guy in particular was actually produced by a lady in Pennsylvania. Her name is Diana Mason. Has some incredible high black blue tongue skinks. And then this for in comparison. So this was produced by Blue Tongue Lizards out of Miami, Roncudo. This is a second generation red to sunrise blue tongue skink. If I hold these guys together, you can kind of tell the difference in coloration. This guy's a lot brighter, a lot more orange coloration. And actually, a lot of these guys from these genetics can come out to be like almost like a blood red coloration. So that's one of the things I'm actually hoping to produce this year, with like animals like these guys and a few others that I've been picking up over the past few years.
You have a question.
Just tell me what the question is.
What size cage/tank do you usually recommend for an adult skink?
A minimum I would go with is a 40-gallon breeder. You could do 60, you know, there's no, like, that's just the minimum. You could always do bigger is better, but as a minimum, you want at least a 40-gallon breeder. And they'll do one adult perfectly fine. And here are a couple other ones. Ooh, I love this girl. This girl I actually produced last season. I don't know, can you see the colors well?
You want to go in the sun?
Yeah. So This girl's a very white blue-tongue skink. As she gets older, her color keeps fading and fading. You can see the sides; they're not even true black. It's like brown, and then down the middle, she almost has like a red hue. This was produced by White Walker, one of my most popular blue-tongue skinks, and I'm actually gonna show them in a minute. So I'm hoping to actually, when she's ready, put her back with him and see what they throw out. Because you can tell, look, even the tail is faded. And I want to show you the comparison with the normal, more classic blue-tongue skink. Look at that faded, reduced pattern compared to the normal. And hopefully as she gets older, she keeps getting whiter and whiter. If there's any questions, just read them out.
Mhm.
Now this is the almighty White Walker. This animal is actually was produced from a red mom and a yellow dad. For some reason, he just came out just completely different from the rest. I showed you an example of a red to an orange earlier, and this guy came out with absolutely no black, cream on the sides, but not much color at all, and then just a very weird speckled color on the limbs, on the tail. Almost no belly pattern. This is one of my favorite lizards in my entire collection. And hopefully he's siring a few more litters in a month or two. This is another one of my more popular skinks. This is called a Turner White blue-tongue skink. Now the Turner White gene, what it does, these guys are actually born absolutely normal, like that orange one I showed you earlier. And as they get older, they keep losing pattern and they keep losing color. This guy already has zero belly pattern, zero leg pattern, almost completely out of leg pattern, and he just keeps getting whiter and whiter as he gets older. Normally, it takes the animals a few years to get this white. This guy's not even a year old, so he's one of the fastest changing Turner White blue-tongue skinks that I've ever seen. This guy was actually produced by a good friend of mine, Ray Gerge, out of Thunder Bay Herps, and this guy's name is Miami Snow. You see it good?
Mhm.
So hopefully next season I cross his genetics with some of White Walker's, and hopefully we get some very white babies.
What's the average price for one of those?
Or one of these guys?
These ones.
These guys are probably one of the more expensive traits available in the U.S. These guys I've seen most of them over $1,500. So these guys are a very, very expensive lizard. You won't see them less than $1,000. And then some of the nicer ones are gonna be, and this is baby prices. These are for babies. As adults, it's gonna be like $2,000-3,000 animal.
How rare are they, and are they imports?
No, these are not imports. This is a line-bred trait that actually came from the United States, and they're not. They are pretty uncommon, but it's not rare like an albino or like a hypermelanistic blue-tongue skink. But they are pretty uncommon, mainly because of their price tag. Because not everyone's willing to throw down $1,500, $2,000 for a lizard. Only crazy people like us. What are you doing, buddy? Get back in there. Now this here is my absolute favorite blue tongue of all time. He was one of my original blue tongues I've ever bought, and he's really the one who got it started for me. His name is Homer, and he is a sunrise outcross blue tongue skink. What that means is his. You're good. No, yeah. You see it good? Sorry about that, guys. It's really hot out here, and my phone shut off because it was way too hot. But anyways, what I was talking about is so the sunrise gene is basically a gene that makes an animal, a blue tongue skink, very, very yellow. And compared to normals, normals start kind of dulling out after like 2 years or so. They're not as nice, but the sunrise gene, the animals actually keep getting better as they get older, and then they cross that one to a normal, which for some reason always usually produces some very very high orange animal. So he's not yellow, he's more like orange. Come on, man. Come on, Homer. There you go. That's my buddy. So this guy for me is the one who did it all. And he still is getting better. That's the crazy part. After each shed, I'm always like, wow, how are you getting any better, man? But hopefully he fathers like 2 litters this season. I brought him to 2 different females. I have big hopes for him. Took me 3 years to get this guy to breed. So
Will you be at Repticon, June 9th and June 10th in Tampa?
Yeah, we will be there. We do all the Tampa, Orlando, Daytona, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, Miami, all those Repticons. We go to every single one, but we'll definitely be there to the June 9th, June 10th Tampa Repticon. This guy's just, and you can see how docile these guys are. I don't even handle them very often, and they're just very tame, very curious animals. This guy's one of my biggest lizards. So as you can see, he's about 2 feet in length. So that's why they do need that minimum 4-foot space, because these guys do get pretty big. And this is another northern blue-tongue skink. Any questions again? Anything else you guys want to see? You want to see some chameleons? Well, all right, guys. I want to apologize for that overheating interruption, but if you, like I said, if you guys have any questions, just message us as soon as I can. If you guys like the video, and make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button down there. Facebook, Instagram. We got a lot of info on our website. We got it all. Follow us all. Love you guys.